AAA predicts an increase in travel for this summer, expecting nearly 44 million travelers across various transportation modes, surpassing even pre-pandemic levels. I had the chance to chat with Sarah Kopit, the editor-in-chief of Skift. That's a travel news site. She predicts the summer of 24 will include more solo travel, the use of AI, and of course, a Taylor Swift travel boom.
So just like you said, so many people are going to be on the road, in the air, getting out there, enjoying the sun. Here in the Northeast, it's going to be fantastic. So we're seeing a lot of trends this summer. I think that we are still kind of in that post-pandemic bucket list revenge travel era. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people going on these big, huge trips, the like once in a lifetime kind of things. We have a lot of people going to Japan. A lot of that is aided by the currency issues that's going on there. So for Americans, it's relatively inexpensive, relatively, to go to Japan right now. We're seeing a lot of adventure travel. We're seeing a lot of solo travel, especially from women. So maybe they were like, maybe before the pandemic, waiting for a friend or a partner, husband, loved one. And now they're just like, you know what? I'm just going to go by myself. And so we're seeing a lot of those type of trips happening this summer.
I really found that trend interesting. I think it was an American Express survey that said 3/4 of millennial and Gen Z travelers hoping to make a solo trip this year.
Yeah.
What's led to the rise in that, and where are they going?
So I think that, as we have developed as a society, I think it's more acceptable to do it. I think that we are setting up as the travel industry an infrastructure for solo travelers. So you've got a lot of these experience providers or trip planners who are really marketing to that solo traveler, saying, you want to get out there, but you don't have anyone to go with you or won't commit or is just too annoying to try to make the plans and tack them down, come with us. We've got a whole bunch of people that want to go with you that are exactly the same. So they are really counting on that and marketing that. And they've seen such a big influx. It's kind of snowballed a little bit. And it has been ultra successful for these travel planning companies. As for where they're going everywhere. Anywhere that you can think of, anywhere where there would be a market for that. So what I've heard from the experience providers out there is that if you can dream it up, they will plan a trip for you.
That is really interesting. All right, you mentioned we're still in that post-COVID revenge travel, big type of trip. So on the flip side of that is the impact of inflation and gas prices. Is that not impacting travel and travel decisions?
It hasn't seemed to. It seems like what people are really taking their money, maybe saving in other parts of their lives, but they're really taking their money and they're spending it on travel. We've reported at Skift a lot about how people are spending money on experiences, not things. We're not the only ones to have said this. It's part of kind of a cultural change or shift with the younger generation. And so I think we're seeing that, even though everything is more expensive and gas costs more and it takes a lot more to fill up your tank, people are still booking these trips at record levels.
Yeah, we study these companies and we continue to look for the consumer pulling back, and we just don't find it. Norwegian Cruises just said very strong demand, and we're seeing it really across the board. Okay, artificial intelligence. We talk about this basically every day here on Cheddar.
Yeah.
How is it impacting travel and travel plans?
So travel planners are super interested in both AI and generative AI. Google just came out with, its new Gemini AI product, and it's really, you can now type in to these generative AI models to form an itinerary for you so you can go somewhere, and it gives you a really sophisticated look at what you can do in the area where you are, assuming that you put your settings on so it knows where you are. It knows where you are, very specifically, just with the map functions. And so if you can tell it, you can write the correct prompt with what exactly you want to do, it will spit out an incredibly detailed itinerary for you to be able to do, given the amount of time that you have and where you physically are in the world. It's something that's quite revolutionary, rather than just doing what would have been maybe a Google search just a couple of years ago. This is really different, and the travel industry is trying to embrace it, put it into the back end of their tools, and it's one of those things where it's kind of new right now, and so it's hit or miss as to where you're finding it. but probably sooner than you think. Like anything with technology, it's going to be just something that's baked in to all of the travel tools and apps that we use.
Wow, I guess I'm still a little hesitant. Rather old school, go travel agent that puts your faith in AI, but no doubt that is going to be a growing trend. A close second in terms of the impact we're seeing from AI might be the Taylor Swift travel boom. Are we seeing people head over to Europe, to Portugal this weekend, to Spain and throughout Europe this summer?
Yes, yes, we are. It's really no different than it was for the first half of the tour. It's funny. My brother told me the other day that he had two sets of friends who saw each other in Paris. He's from San Francisco. Saw each other in Paris at the Taylor Swift show. Neither one of them knew that the other was going to be there. They both had traveled to Paris to see Taylor Swift from the Bay Area. So, I mean, that's just the kind of impact that she is having everywhere she goes. Again, this is that bucket list kind of thing, right? If you want to go see the Eras Tour, you know what? You're going to take that money out of your bank account. You're going to get on a plane and go fly and see it. And that's what we're seeing happen.
Yeah, put me on that list. I think I'm going to try to jump on the Eras Tour over in Europe. Okay, the Summer Olympics in Paris.
Yep.
Are we seeing a massive spike there? And are some travelers staying away from that spike that may come with it?
You know, I just talked to the French tourism minister earlier this week, and she was telling me that the French are ready for everybody. We're ready for everyone to come. And she said that, while there are some people who may be staying away who would come to Paris typically in July, and now they're just like, it's going to be too busy. She wanted to assure everybody Paris is open for business. Maybe on the day of the opening ceremonies, might see a little bit of more traffic in the downtown area. But kind of like New York, Paris is open for business this summer. Lots of people are going. Lots of French people are going to see the Olympics. And so it's really been, quite a successful campaign for the French, and they're really excited about it.
Yeah, with the exception of Taylor Swift, it looks like prices just off the charts across Europe at many locations this summer.
Although,
go ahead.
we at Skift did take a look, though, right after the Olympics is over. You want to go to Paris? Airline fares are pretty inexpensive right now. So you heard it here.
That is a great tip. And finally, I see Frontier and Spirit Airlines, rare good news for passengers, consumers, doing away with cancellation and change fees. Why? Is there any other good news coming in the airline sector?
So, I mean, the good news from the airline sector is that you can get from point A to point B on an airplane this summer and have some fun. But yeah, this junk fees legislation that is coming through and really kind of forcing the issue on refunds and kind of some of these fair transparency pushes, it's happening here in the US, and it's kind of forcing some of the airlines to make changes to their policies, on their own in lieu of having the government tell them exactly what they're going to do. So we're going to see some changes here in the US that have been happening, by the way, in Europe.